free consultation and a guaranteed solution. 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom fighters. How are you, Kenny?
Good morning, Vic. I'm doing great, man. I got to drive my wife's car today. My air conditioning, my truck is not working.
Oh, jeez.
So my wife's working from home, and she said, "Hey, you want to take my car?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah, I think I will.
People won't break in front of you and give you problems.
I know, it's so weird.
You're weird.
You're weird.
Nope.
No, you are.
Karen Kataline is going to join us in just a sec. By the way, breaking news happening as we speak. Huge, big breaking news. We'll get to that in just a second. Larry Behrens. Been a long time since we talked to him.
Power of the future, baby.
Even heard his voice. Love Larry. He's going to join us at 9:41. Nate Lucas, Porcelli's DELI, and Bill Eigel, candidate for Missouri governor and current state senator. All right, let's get the pledge going, and then we'll talk about all stuff. Who
is it, Vic?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. From Serenity Wealth, it is Chris Cooper.
Love Chris Cooper. Go ahead, Chris.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I got an idea for the name of a new feature.
Yeah.
It's called Breaking News with a Jew.
The one and only Karen Kataline.
Did you know that I'm married to a trucker? I feel like using a Yiddish word, famished. Spoiling in front of my computer, I am. They're just too dumb to lie. He has the effect of 6 shots of scotch.
Good morning, Karen Kataline.
Good morning to both of you.
I can easily make your name sound Italian. You know that. Karen Kataline.
Karen Kataline.
So listen, breaking news.
Yeah?
The Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich is going to be released by Russia in a prisoner swap, and Paul Whelan is also in the mix. He and Evan both will be released today, probably for like Joseph Stalin or somebody crazy and dangerous like that.
Or 30 or 40 different people.
Right. But that's good news, right?
Yeah, it's always good news. Pardon my skepticism of the timing of a lot of these big news items.
Yep.
Like we on the same page, Ken?
Exactly.
And isn't it interesting that along with that in my news feed is that, let's see, after how many years? 20 plus years it took them to make a deal with Sheikh Mohammed.
Right.
Really?
That one is.
And they were holding off on that. They couldn't get it together. Our lovely government just couldn't get it together. On 9/11, the victims' families of 9/11 are up in arms about it, rightfully so, because nobody wants to acknowledge any kind of Saudi Arabian connection. And it's the timing. I'm scratching my head.
But what's the advantage? What's the advantage of releasing, or not releasing him, but giving him a plea deal anyway? What's the advantage of that?
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
We're always, all of us, always having to speculate on what the true motive and what's really going on, because we don't know. There's so much that's being done that's brazen. So from here on this question, it's pure speculation. But I remember there was a leak. I don't remember who did it, whether it was James O'Keefe or something, that they said, just as an example, they said, somebody within the administration said, well, we have to be careful and be a lot nicer to Israel until after the election. They're already planning on winning, and they're going to stick it to Israel like nobody's business after the election, which I believe because we've watched their track record. So a lot of things I think are being done now, either for political advantage or for getting it out of the way until after the election. Let's just say that whatever the reason they say for why things are happening, timing is everything, and it's not usually the reason. Call me awful and mean and cynical and skeptical, but we've been watching.
You are awful and mean and skeptical.
I am.
It's okay.
You know that thing I always say about the curse of awareness,
Yeah.
which a lot of people have kind of taken on and said that a lot of us have the curse of awareness, and we all got that curse at varying times in the recent decade and a half or whatever it was. But a lot of it is just that we have the ability to see patterns of behavior, and we have a good memory.
Yeah, no kidding. And
That's it.
unfortunately,
You know?
when you dig into this kind of stuff 24/7, like we have to do, you, me, and Ken especially, how do you not? You see, oh, I remember that. I saw that story the other day. We talked about that the other day on the radio. So
Well, and the media tries desperately to erase our memory. I mean, kind of like, what is that great sci-fi movie when they just click and you suddenly forget everything?
oh, that's Men in
Men in
Black.
Black.
Yeah,
Men
yeah.
in Black.
Yep.
I mean, that's the equivalent of what the media does. Do not, you may not remember anything that you saw last week.
Yeah, no kidding.
And to what you both are talking about, in fact, Karen, this morning I told Vic, I said, we have a fact sheet, Vic, I'd like you to hang on to. It's as Biden's borders are, Vice President Kamala Harris owns the historic border crisis. And I want him to keep that because people keep forgetting.
Exactly. I just posted something. I reposted somebody named Colin O'Brien. Don't know who that is. He wrote just the simplest thing. I thought DEI was a good thing.
Right.
Why are they so mad that we say someone is a DEI hire?
Yep.
And I said, ding, 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 ding. Where else in our tactics, I'm adding, can we refuse to take their bait and simply remind people of what they lectured us about last week, last month, last year? Just remember what they were telling us adamantly, that they were so morally superior to us. And now they're backing off DEI because it's somehow a pejorative.
Well,
they don't get to have it both ways unless we let them.
That's amazing.
It's funny that you've led us right into another story.
Yeah.
And
Can you save a little bit of time for the Olympic opening ceremonies for me? Because
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we always have time for you, Karen Kataline.
Thank you.
So my question to you is, leading us into another story, which is Donald Trump at the Black journalists. What was it, kind of convention or just a meeting or a get together or what was it?
Yeah, it's the Black Journalists National Association of Black Journalists. That's really what it is. And he went in there because they invited him, and he thought that they were also going to be inviting either Biden or Kamala Harris.
Well, they did invite Kamala Harris, and she declined to be there. And it looks like she declined because they wouldn't give her the questions in advance. So Donald Trump sits down, and he right away is asked the gotcha questions. And it's about DEI. You got the DEI one, Ken?
Yeah.
The DEI one. Well,
because that's Karen brought up DEI. I want to talk just about DEI right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Okay. So exactly what you said, Karen. It's like, is Kamala Harris, because first she talked about how much of a racist he is and all that stuff. And nobody has ever proven that at all. But she goes, is Kamala Harris in your eyes a DEI hire? And I'm like, that is an odd question. What are you saying, that she is a DEI hire and she doesn't deserve it? Or are you saying that DEI is a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? It was really weird.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was weird.
Exactly. And you know what I've been thinking a lot about when I posted that little thing, ding, 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 is the amount of restraint that it takes a lot of people, even a lot of Republicans, to just take a deep breath with the latest accusation, the latest smear, the latest everything. Just take a step back and don't let yourself get caught up in the bait that they're always setting for you. I think I saw the video that Donald Trump answered. I think that he answered it. If I'm not mistaken, it was the same thing. And he's not, he did a great job.
Let's listen to it.
I mean,
You want to listen
Yeah.
to it?
Oh,
Let's hear it. Okay, good.
Mr. President, we
read-in.
so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe Black district attorneys. You've attacked Black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking Black supporters to vote for you, why should Black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the Black population of this country. I've done so much for the Black population of this country.
There you go.
I didn't hear that one. That was great. And the best thing is the audience reaction.
Yeah.
Who wrote that? That wasn't a question. That was a speech trying to rally the audience in hatred towards Trump. And apparently it didn't work. How about that?
And, you know, she called it the elephant in the room. And it's not the elephant in the room, but that was her just way of saying, oh, this is what everyone's talking about, Mr.
Right.
Trump. You're
That
a
is
jerk.
all part of their tactics. Is they're going to not only tell us what to think, but they're going to tell us that everybody else is thinking this. So you'd better. Have you noticed it along with the complete, I'm going to call it a whitewash of Kamala Harris's record? We've seen her. We've watched her for 4 years. We're supposed to ding Black men in black.
Right.
Erase our memory of everything we know about her, the whining voice, the cackling, the word salad, all of it we're supposed to erase. But now we're supposed to believe that this stuff is amazing. What is it that she's gonna that she's caught up to him, that she's raising millions upon billions of dollars, and the propaganda media is the one giving you those facts, telling you that she's now competitive in all the battleground states. That's media, and that is a report that Republicans will believe, not realizing this is the same source that's been lying to you all along. What's wrong with you?
Right. All right. Per your request, let's go back to the opening ceremonies of the Olympics.
Yes.
How do you want us to? You start.
I guess I just wanted to make a statement, really. I did post a rabbi's response to the opening ceremony, which I loved very, very much. On Twitter, that's where I'm posting, even though I'm still doing radio and stuff. I loved this post by the rabbi. And this is what he said. As a Jew and a rabbi, I stand with my Christian brothers and sisters in defending their faith, for it is a defense of my own religion as well. Together, we can and must make a difference by protesting this heinous act. I hate to prematurely apologize for a lot of Jews, and I can't do that because, 2 Jews, 3 opinions.
Mhm.
More Jews must stand up and stand with Christians on this.
Mhm.
And I'm being counted because it offends me so profoundly. And it even offended me more that they tried to shut down opinion about it. And when that didn't work, thank you, Elon Musk, they made a phony apology. Apologies are supposed to be when you know what you did and you did wrong.
You're sorry because you got caught.
Yeah. Well, and they're not supposed to be not only getting caught, they're not supposed to be, if I offended anybody, I'm sorry. But that means I don't have a remote clue what I did that was wrong.
Yep. No.
And they never do. And there have been a lot of those lately. I can't remember them offhand, but there have been a lot of these phony apologies, which means we're getting to them. But it also means they haven't changed their heart.
Yep.
They haven't changed their soul.
All right, we got a minute.
They're
left.
just,
Go
yeah.
ahead. We got a minute left, so I don't want to.
Sorry, I'm done.
That whole thing. What I hated the most was all the sudden Greek mythology experts on social media saying you're an idiot if you don't know about Dionysus. This is not the Last Supper. This is a Greek mythology thing. So my wife found this thing. It's the actual program when you went to the Olympics and you were watching it. It was a program. Celine Dion's going to sing and Lady Gaga's going to sing, and then we're going to have La Scène sur la scène sur la scène, which means the Last Supper on the stage of the Seine. So it was absolutely a Last Supper, not your stupid Dionysus Greek mythology crap.
And they're backing off of it. Right before that, there was another one where there wasn't an apology about movies, you know, how the left has ruined movies, and all of a sudden they're losing so damn much money that certain people are coming out and saying, well, we're making movies for you, middle America.
Yeah.
And I quoted, I thought of you the whole time. Godfather quote.
Yeah.
This committee owes an apology.
An apology, Senator. This committee owes an apology. And let me tell you, one day I want to do a break on words that I learned through things that I watch, right? Because I learned the word besmirch when Michael.
Oh, I love that word.
Yeah, me too.
Yes,
and I'm 1974. I was a sophomore in high school. When would an Italian kid from New Jersey say, "Hey, yo, you besmirched my name"? You know what I mean? And there's lots of things.
We should do a whole thing on The Godfather, but I mean, everybody knows it. I mean, there's, as Billy Crystal says, there's a Godfather reference for almost everything in life.
Absolutely everything in life. All right, KarenKataline.com is where you find this fine woman. Karen, thank you so much. You're awesome.
Thank you.
And we'll talk
You're
next
awesome.
week. Love you.
All right. Bye.
See you, Karen.
Yeah, I knew she'd have some cool stuff to say about that.
Oh yeah.
All right, listen. Elections are confusing. Is that correct?
Yeah, they can be.
So don't go into the ballot box blindly. Get a sample ballot right now at NewstalkSTL.com. It's right at the top of the page, and you'll find everything that you can vote on.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be, ignorant when you go in there. You'll be smart. Okay. Coming up next, Ken, I don't know. I'm kind of stumped now. I was going to say we can do the Trump at the National Black Journalist thing.
I love that idea.
You want to do that?
Yeah, man.
All right, so we'll do that next. President.
I think he slayed it. I think he did exactly, and he did it with truth and with honesty.
Yep. And he showed up with an invitation, and Kamala did not.
Right.
That's number one, and that's next. On 101.9 and 94.1, News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. They make really bad decisions.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
That's the way to get the youth vote. Insult them. All right, listen. Chris Cooper over at Serenity Wealth Management. I've never seen a guy have his stuff together more than this guy's Chris Cooper, because he, first of all, has some great information that you really need to know. And I hate to be morbid about it, but before you die, okay, don't leave your money to the government through taxes. Medical or care community, nope, they don't get the money either. And that would happen by not planning for health needs. What you want to do is leave your money to your kids, or maybe even a charity of your choice. But let's make that your decision, not the government's, not the healthcare community. God bless the healthcare community, but they're expensive. And Chris will have tax-efficient ways, by the way, for long-term care, to get through that without going broke. So when you go to Serenity Wealth Management up in Lake St. Louis, you will see a different kind of office, one that you will feel comfortable in. When I say comfortable like you're in a living room, because it looks like a living room. It does. It looks really great. You can get his new book, which is called The New Holistic Retirement. It's at SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Serenity Now!
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk. Live and local.
I need to know what's going on in my city.
News Talk STL.
Biden's border crisis, China buying our farmland, Sam Page disrespecting our seniors. We're under attack. It's time to fight. I'm David Gregory. I created a law that authorizes Missouri to detain illegal immigrants. I've never voted for China to buy Missouri farmland, and I sued Sam Page to give our seniors their tax freeze. I'm David Gregory. I'm already fighting for you as your next state senator.
Paid for by Gregory from Missouri. Joe Garavaglia, Treasurer.
Looking to get a new carpet, hardwood, or tile installed quickly and efficiently in your home? Look no further than Michael's Flooring Outlet. Michael's Flooring Outlet is a family-owned and operated business with a 30-year history of offering a diverse array of high-quality options in flooring. My parents and in-laws used Michael's to rip up their old carpet and replace it. They are both happy with the product and installation from Michael's. You can shop at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Darting Prairie, or St. Peters, or you can check them out at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Missourians, our future is under attack. Tax Hike Mike is fixing to devour your hard-earned money with gas taxes galore and another sky-high fee on your next car purchase. Kehoe's policies will flat-out destroy your wallet. His big old bus is fueled by donations from Chinese communists and George Soros surrogates. But there's hope. Jay Ashcroft, the true leader who fights with integrity against the lies, higher taxes, and the Jefferson City swamp. Vote Jay Ashcroft for governor now.
Paid for by Friends of J. Ashcroft PAC. Alexandra Lang, Treasurer.
How are your windows doing this summer? Are they keeping the hot air out, keeping the cool air in? If you have any doubts at all, once you get a hold of Window World, simply the best for less. Give them a call today, 314-993-1800. Tim Jones here to tell you how awesome Window World is, one of only 2 window companies in the entire country that carry the coveted Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They've got a lifetime warranty, covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor, a double strength of glass, incredibly thermally efficient, for the first time ever, offering 0% financing plans up to 36 months. 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. WindowWorld.com. WindowWorld.com.
The wait is over. President Trump endorses Bill Eigel for governor. Bill Eigel, true America First conservative and the first to endorse President Trump. Bill Eigel is the only candidate who will take on the Jeff City swamp. Listen to Trump-endorsed conservative Bill Eigel.
We'll round up illegal immigrants and get rid of them, period. We'll ban Chinese ownership of our land and take back everything they stole. And we'll go by how God made us, not some stupid woke pronouns. They'll call us racist, sexist, God knows what else. And that's how we'll know we're winning.
Bold conservative Bill Eigel. Ban personal property taxes. Deport every single illegal immigrant in Missouri. Bill Eigel. Politicians hate him, special interests fear him, and Trump endorsed him. Vote Trump-endorsed Bill Eigel for governor. Believe in Life and Liberty PAC, paid for and is responsible for the content of this communication, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.billpac.com.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here. Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
In my life, I had a guardian angel by my side. I called her Mamaw. She loved the Lord, ladies and gentlemen. She was a woman of very deep Christian faith. But she also loved the F word.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense, and then you said you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer
very
the question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
Black voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights
And
Act.
for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Okay, a couple of things there, okay? First of all, and I'm not comparing him to the guy I'm going to bring up here because Donald Trump is a much better guy. But if you've seen The Irishman, have you seen The Irishman?
Parts of it, yeah. You
Robert De
turned me on to it,
Niro and Al Pacino and Joe Pesci. Al Pacino plays Jimmy Hoffa, and he's supposed to have a meeting with Tony Provenzano, Provenzano, the New Jersey mob boss, played by Stephen Graham, by the way, who has in real life the thickest British accent. But he walks in like he doesn't. He's like, and then he sits down, and the first thing Jimmy Hoffa says to him is, "You're late." It's only 10 minutes. You're late. 10 minutes is late. On time is late. And Donald Trump, they made him wait 35 minutes.
But do you know the story behind that?
I don't, Ken. Tell me.
Actually, there were reports and actually articles coming out so quickly. It was really weird because right away they said, "Oh, it's late. Okay, it's Donald Trump's fault, and here's why." He didn't want any reports to come out about bad things about him saying things ahead of time. In other words, if they'd have recorded it, they could have had all this other stuff against him. That's what they were saying. In reality, was that Donald Trump's the reason why he mentioned it multiple times, he knew that they were accusing it of him being late, and he's not a late guy.
Right.
Trump will not. Yeah, Trump will not be late. And they were trying to pin that on him, but in fact, what it was it was an equipment issue.
Yeah, right. And the equipment issue continued during the program because the person next to that person who asked the first question, he couldn't hear. He heard like every other word.
Right.
Because the sound system was so bad.
Right.
Well, whose fault is that? His?
Right.
Right?
Exactly. And it made him look bad.
Yeah, right. Well, that was, like you said, Ken, that was the main objective of having him there, was to make him look bad. Even though, Kamala Harris didn't even show up, and she got an invitation too. Then he started talking about Kamala Harris and her record as border czar.
They're coming in, they're invading. It's an invasion of millions of people, probably 15, 16, 17 million people. I have a feeling it's much more than that.
I do too.
And everybody's been seeing what's happened. The first group of people, the black population, is affected most by that. And Kamala is allowing it to happen. She's the border czar. She's the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border czar like this. She's never even essentially been. She said she was there once, but not the right part of the border. So she was a border czar. She's done a horrible job. These people are coming into our country, and they're taking black jobs and Hispanic jobs. And frankly, they're taking union jobs. Unions are being very badly affected by all of the millions of people that are pouring into our country. And one thing, as we discussed, many of these people are coming in from mental institutions, from prisons, from jails. They're gang members in other countries. Other countries are setting loose their prisoners. They're opening up their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're taking their bad people, drug dealers, gang members, and they're bringing them into the United States. And by the way, their crime rate is going down, and our crime rate is going to be a disaster.
Mr. President.
So here's I'm sorry, Ken. I hope we can fit the last one in. There's that word again, there.
Yeah.
And somebody can make them say that he's saying they are.
But that's why he explained it in depth, Vic. He just did. He just did.
He heard me. That's why he heard me talking about it.
And one thing that I wanted to bring up about him saying black jobs. Well, that woman who he was saying was terrible, who was awful, actually. And I think she's kind of a racist in herself. She said, "Well, what do you mean by black jobs?" He said, and he looked at her and he went, "Jobs that black people have."
Right. And because they're taking it, they're the ones that are being racist. What do you mean black jobs?
Right.
And he also said Hispanic jobs, and he said union jobs. So in the last 24 hours, Sean Fain, president of the UAW, has officially endorsed Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And on Jesse's show, Jesse Waters' show on Fox, he sends his kid Johnny out on the street and asks questions and stuff. And he was talking to UAW members, and he said, "So what's going to happen here in November?" He says, "If Trump doesn't win, it's over. Country's over.
It's over."
That's a UAW union member.
Right.
This is why Mark Mix started Right to Life, Right to Work. Sorry,
we're going to get him on, I think, next week.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we play it all the time. Sean Fain says, "Well, the majority of our members will vote for Trump, but we're not going to endorse him." Well, if the majority, how are you representing your union if the majority of the people won't vote for a certain candidate? So that's that. I wanted to say that. And I also wanted to say, just a tip of the cap to you, Ken, because you're the first person I heard say 20 million illegals. So I wanted to give you credit on
Oh,
that.
thanks, man.
All right, let's go on.
Yeah.
Trump at the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. There's a word missing there. Convention. This is
Yeah, it doesn't. NABJ just sounds weird.
Doesn't sound weird.
Yeah.
And this is him talking about Kamala's Indian heritage.
I believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman.
Well, I can say no. I think it's maybe a little bit different. So
listen to this.
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly, very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect either
historically black
one.
college.
I respect either
That's a
one,
lie.
but she obviously doesn't. Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do
And
you believe
I
that
think
she is
somebody should look into that too.
Certainly, you could become the first Indian senator in U.S. history, which would be quite an accomplishment.
Not good.
The first Indian senator.
Yeah. And the lady says, but she was identified as black. Well, Rachel Dolezal identified as black, and she was as white, blonde hair, blue-eyed
Right.
as they come.
Right.
We can't.
I know.
Okay, so let's go. But he did a great job on that. And there's videos you can find on YouTube with Kamala, with that girl Mindy that was in that show, Mindy Khalif or whatever her name was. She had a show on NBC for a while.
Yeah.
She is Indian, okay? And by the way, she grew up in Canada. She wasn't born in Canada, was she?
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, if she was, she can't run for president.
Well,
is my point.
I get it.
Jeez, there's such a. My wife, she thinks she's an anchor baby, and then they moved to Canada.
Right.
None of it makes sense.
Nope.
Nothing Democrats say makes sense. Can we make an acronym for that? NIDM. You mean? Oh my God, I'm losing it. All right, hey, we haven't talked to him in a long time. Larry Behrens is going to join us next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
We'll speak with Steve Bucci from Heritage on the Israeli assassination of terrorist leaders. And at 5:25, we'll speak with Rick Stream, director of the St. Louis County Elections.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Are you ready for positive change in Jefferson County?
Hi, I'm Billy Crow, and I'm running for Jefferson County Council because I believe in a brighter future for our community. I spent my life working hard and listening to the needs of our neighbors. Together, we can build better schools, safer neighborhoods, and a stronger local economy.
Billy Crow has always been there for our community.
I trust Billy to bring fresh ideas and real solutions to Jefferson County.
Vote for a leader who cares. Vote Billy Crow for Jefferson County Council.
I'm Billy Crow, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Billy Crow. Joyce Jenner, Treasurer.
Hey, want to amaze your friends when they visit? They will be impressed when they see your custom-made drapes, blinds, or shutters. Michael Proctor will personally help you pick out the correct colors to truly showcase your home. Then he will actually design and personally install everything. No overhead markup. That's going to save you a lot of money on drapes, blinds, or shutters.
Call for an appointment at your home. Spell Proctor like doctor.
Hi, this is former St. Louis County Police Chief Tim Fitch, and I am endorsing Mark Harder for the State Senate Race 15. I know firsthand, Mark has been a strong supporter of our police and first responders. Over the years, we sponsored legislation together to increase funding and equipment for our county police. We worked together to crack down on car and catalytic converter thefts and the proliferation of drugs like fentanyl in our community. Mark Harder is the right choice for voters in West County on August 6th.
Paid for by citizens to elect Mark Harder. Chuck McCluskey, Treasurer.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
I'm Jim Bolin, running to represent West St. Louis County in the Missouri Senate. Growing up in Texas County, my dad always said, all hat and no cattle, about those who talk big but do little. I built a successful business, cleaned up City Hall as mayor, and now I'm ready to clean up Jefferson City. We need to jail repeat offenders, stop taxpayer funding for illegals, cut taxes, protect our children, and defend our liberties from the radical left. I'm Jim Bolin, and I would appreciate your vote on August the 6th. Let's get it done.
Paid for by Bolin from Missouri. Cindy Samagi, Treasurer.
By now, you've heard Adam Schnelting's false attack ads. Don't buy his lies. Adam Schnelting says he opposes the transgender agenda, but he's trying to conceal the truth. Schnelting has received more than $71,000 from liberal trial lawyers. Those same trial lawyers supporting Schnelting also gave over $100,000 to a liberal group that supports men playing girls' sports, supports men using girls' bathrooms, and even supports gender mutilation surgeries for minors. To make matters worse, Adam Schnelting says he supports our gun rights, but he's received thousands from leading anti-gun lawyers that filed a massive lawsuit against gun makers and gun owners. But that's not all. These liberal lawyers don't just fund Adam Schnelting's campaign, their anti-gun lawsuits, or the transgender movement. They've also been leading funders of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and even the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris ticket. Adam Schnelting. With friends like that, conservatives just can't trust him. On August 6th, don't forget Adam Schnelting. He's loved by liberals, and he lies like one too.
Gladius PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Gladius PAC and is not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com.
Whoosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
We demand a lower work week, 32-hour work week.
Very well, we'll give them shorter hours. We'll start by cutting their lunch hour to 20 minutes.
On NewstalkSTL.
Couldn't be more perfect. That couldn't be more perfect answer to Bernie Sanders. Big Groucho Marx. We'll start by cutting their lunch hour to 20 minutes. Okay. So we got a lot of stuff going on here at the radio station we want you to be a part of. And one of them is election night coverage, which will happen this Tuesday already.
Yeah.
How did that? Wow. So we'll be giving you complete full election coverage like nobody else can or will do.
And Vic's going to be in the studio with Tony, right?
Wait, nobody told me that. I have to do that?
Yeah, you're going to be here for the whole time. And then I'm going to be on the chat boxes.
Well, listen, I agreed to this only if I will be fed Steph's Pizza and Capriotti sandwiches.
Well, that's something that I'm sure that Tony, being the program director, could maybe take care of.
Well, it's in my contract. They better get going on that. All right, let's welcome back an old friend to the show. We haven't talked to him in a long time, and I hate that that's happened. Larry Behrens joins us from Power of the Future. How you doing, Larry? Great to have you back.
Hey, thanks, Vic. I'm glad to be back. And here I am with no sandwich right in front of me like a chump. Oh,
hey, I'm a chump with you. I got no sandwich. I don't get to eat till next Tuesday. I got to starve from now till All right, so we'll
try to get through it.
Let's talk about this Green New Deal thing. And, you know, Kamala wants to invest $10 trillion into the Green New Deal, something that I could be wrong. I'm not a mathematician nor an environmentalist, but I think $10 trillion a year is a little bit too much to spend on this stuff. And it's losing money every day, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And let's be clear, $10 a year is too much to spend.
Yeah, you're right.
On this whole situation. But and I got to be honest, since I looked that up, that was on Kamala's presidential website when she ran back in 2019. She didn't even make it to 2020. And so she said 10 trillion back then, but I haven't checked in today. You know, maybe she says she wants to spend 10 trillion on oil and gas. It seems like she's trying to erase a lot of her history. But back when she last spoke about it, it was 10 trillion that she wants to spend on the Green New Deal, which she wholeheartedly supports, just like she supported banning fracking before, I guess, she looked at poll numbers. And so it's difficult to see which Kamala we're dealing with this week, but the last time she spoke about it was she wanted to spend all of our money.
So just a quick story about fracking. My family and I, we were traveling across the country. We used to go home and go to the New Jersey beach every year. And we stopped in Pennsylvania to sleep. And my wife and I are out on the balcony and we're looking. It's like it's a roadside hotel motel just to sleep, and there's people laundry out there and everything. And I'm like, what in the hell? Do people live here? I said to her. And then we figured out it's the guys who came to go fracking. And that's where they're staying while they're fracking. And I was like, oh my God, jobs. How about that?
It is absolutely insane. In Southeast New Mexico, there was a time, it's about 5-6 years ago now, where there was the same thing, roadside motel. And don't get me wrong, I stay in a lot of 2-3 star hotels too, especially when you're traveling.
Yeah.
But that room, no joke, we looked it up at the time, was going more than a room at the Trump Tower in New York City. Because again, so many workers, and it was such a premium for them to have a place to sleep. And yes, it is massive economic activity. It is billions of dollars. When folks ask and they're worried about the national deficit, as they should be, fracking and energy is one way to pay it that doesn't raise taxes on anybody. If we just developed our natural resources and took the revenue from that, the severance tax, which we're already charging, so it's already baked in, we can start making a dent. But no, Kamala Harris wants to, I guess, what are we at, $35 trillion national debt right now, so she's going to throw another 10 on it right away.
And I'm sure that would just be, that's not a one-time investment either. I'm sure it'll be more than just 10 trillion. So I'd like to go back, Larry, if you don't mind, to Joe and his 2020 campaign when he says, I'm going to create good paying union jobs, right? That was his big line, good paying union jobs. And then he gets into office, signs a couple of executive orders, stopping the Keystone Pipeline, stopping fracking, stopping drilling in Anwar. And all those are union jobs, Larry.
And then he drops out of the race, right?
And he drops out.
And the whole time Kamala was cheerleading the whole time that he did all of this. And now she's trying to pretend, I half expect to wake up tomorrow, read the newspaper. Kamala Harris denies she was the vice president during the Joe Biden. It's absolutely insane what is going on. But yes, it is. We have lost a ton of jobs, and it was billions of dollars. And not only that, let's take a look at what they've spent. They've spent, I don't know how much on electric vehicle chargers. I want to say it's close to $7 billion. They've built 7. Just this week, it was reported they spent $2 billion on electric school buses. They've bought, I think, 60. I mean, it is insane. And so when you start looking at this, you have to start saying, these communists are, producing a few little products so that they can have their ribbon cutting. And after that, they grift the rest of the money. And so you're right. It is not going to just be 10 trillion. There's always going to be more because they always want more. And good union workers, good American workers are out of luck and out of a job.
So some other things with the Green New Deal that people just can't afford. And when are people going to wake up that we just can't afford electric vehicles? You mentioned $7 billion to build 8 stations, right? Wind farms, which are killing whales. They used to save the whales, right? All the hippies used to be on the beach saying, save the whales. And now it's like, screw the whales. We need wind farms and gas stoves, right? I mean, when are people going to wake up? Even on that side, Larry, when are they going to wake up and say, hey, Marge, you know what? We just can't afford all this stuff.
We absolutely can. And that should be the hallmark of, if you have any, I love to glue myself to the road or throw spaghetti on the Mona Lisa environmentalist in your face saying you don't love the earth. That's when you just hit the pause button and say, okay, listen, if it was about the whales, how do you feel about the whales dying now from your props? If it was about the environment, how do you feel about China putting more emissions to make your sun panels and windmills than we've ever had here in the United States? If it's really about the environment, because it never has been, it has always been about more power and more money. And that's why they can go after your gas stove, and then they go after your electric vehicle. And let me take you one more. Joe Biden wants to control what you drive. Kamala Harris wants to control what you eat. She has literally said, we need to, because of the climate, at the highest levels of government, look at the food pyramid and start to eliminate red meat because we want to save the earth. And that is where it is.
We're speaking with Larry Behrens from Power of the Future. Larry, we've really got to focus on how much damage Kamala Harris can do to this country. $10 trillion. if we had $10 trillion to spend on the American people, it would change the whole situation here in the United States. I'm an aspiring geologist. In college, I was in communication, and I studied on the side because I loved it so much, geology and the cycles of the earth. And Larry, 60,000 years ago, we were in the same situation. It's cyclical. In 40,000 years from now, we're going to be back at the Ice Age, and there's nothing we could spend on this whole earth that could change that.
Well, just take your common sense and shove it, okay? Everyone knows it was the gas stoves 40,000 years ago that did this and your Model T. And so, of course, everyone knows that it is natural cycles that do this. And when we look at what they're trying to push, it always results in two things: more money coming from us and more power going to them. And so, just to try to put the number in context of $10 trillion, I looked at what the entire budget of the United States Navy was in 2019. There was $220 billion. That's every ship, every meal, every pay for every sailor. For 1 year, $220 billion. That's less than 2% of what she wants to spend just on climate. That is insane in the amount of numbers.
All right, here's remember the Paris Climate Accords? Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How great that was going to be?
Oh yeah.
And Trump didn't want to be in it. Well, Paris spent $1 billion to clean up the Seine River.
Right.
It rained one day and the river was polluted, and they had to postpone the triathlon. So nothing they're doing, Larry. Nothing is working. Not one thing. Not one thing.
Isn't it just so incredible? And you know what? The eco left is going to look at that and say, well, that's a success. It's because it's a success because all their friends got grift and got rich, right? And they were able to get that one shot of swimmers in. Oh yeah, it was a day late and really didn't make any effect, but we all got rich on it. And that is what we're having to deal with. And the United States is out of money to spend on this stuff. It does not stand on its own. And that's when the environmentalists tell you we need to transition to this future. Well, you need to ask them, we'll transition without using government money to do it, because the oil and natural gas industry does that. No one had to, tell me and twist my arm to start using an iPhone. It was just a product that I wanted to do. Yet we have to have mandates that we buy EVs. We have to have mandates that we switch our electricity to this. And so I wish I could just laugh it off and say it's just government being stupid because they spend too much money and they grift. But it is real dangerous. The temperatures get hot here in Missouri where I am and where you guys are, and we start to, click up the air conditioner. If you don't have power, it turns real dangerous real quick. And so for folks to be messing with something as critical as that, we all stop laughing pretty quick.
Larry, I miss hearing your voice on the station. I really do. It's always great to talk to you. Find Larry at Power the Future, right? Power the Future, and at Larry Behrens on Twitter, at Power the Future on Twitter. Larry, great to talk to you again. It's great to hear your voice.
Vic, thanks so much, kid. You guys are the best.
Hey, thanks, Larry. You take care.
I don't know about that. By the way, surprise to me that my buddy Ken studied geology. When were you going to tell me that?
Well, I did that in college, because it's like you've got your communications degree, your business degrees, you got all that other stuff, and then you aspire to be this. You love, like geology, like
Don't you understand? Now I understand when you always talk about cyclical and this billion years ago, and I'm saying, how does he know all this? You never told me you studied geology.
Yeah, man.
Stop keeping secrets from me. Let's do the chat box. Let's go. Amy's first in this morning. Good morning, freedom fighter Vic Heads. GMFFDH. Vote Trump. Your country is survival depends on it. Good morning, gents and fellow Vic Heads. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll be on duty for catching up on the podcast. Thank you, Navy Chief. Good morning, Vic Heads. Good Thursday morning to all the Vic Heads. I forgot to mention it. Ed, whenever Karen's on with us, says, Karen, how you doing?
How you doing?
He also says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Fix this country. No fair election.
No peace.
No fair election.
No peace.
Yeah, baby. 101 straight up says, fight.
Fight.
Fight. Love it. Love it. Uh-oh. Is Bill Eigel today? Bill Eigel is today.
Yeah.
Not a fan is in the chat box.
Oh, okay.
Just saying it. Just saying.
All right.
Wait a minute. Somebody said, don't you cuss in this here chat box. Who's been cussing in this here chat box?
Don't you cuss on this here radio.
Yeah, or chat box.
No, in the chat box, actually, they can cuss.
Yeah, go ahead. Cuss on this here chat box. Seriously, Karen, how you doing? Whoosh the like button. Whoosh. I don't know that. Whoosh. By the way, we have a guy named Duke who's in our chat box all the time. Has has made it. Every Wednesday will be Double Whoosh Wednesday.
Yes.
So be here for that.
Important.
So we got Double Doit Thursday and
Double Whoosh
Wednesday. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we can't get to every comment in the chat.
But hang with us because we just got to have a lot of information to give you. That's the reason. That's the whole reason why.
And we're just so popular. Don't make me sing. Nate Lucas, Porcelli's Deli, and Bill Eigel, Missouri State Senator and current candidate for governor. Man, this Ken, I got to tell you, out in the open, in public, what a great week you put together here.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man. All right, let's hear some news for 5 minutes. We'll have more on that prisoner swap. We'll give you more on that coming up, too, on News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
During the COVID years, I was very disappointed by weak leadership dictating COVID tyranny and ridiculous, nonsensical rules. We had lost over 300,000 school days in St. Charles County that the children will never get back. The closing of businesses and mandates were unconstitutional and complete government overreach. I will always fight for your constitutional rights and your God-given freedoms and liberty. I'm Joe Browse, and I'm running for St. Charles County Council District 2. Vote August 6th. Thank you, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Citizens for Joe Brazel, Mike Summers, Treasurer.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Jefferson County, the future is bright. Vote Leslie Cheek for County Council.
Hi, I'm Leslie Cheek. I am not a career politician. In fact, I'm not a politician at all. I've been a businesswoman in the area for over 30 years, and I see this as an opportunity to share expertise in land use and bring a common sense and responsible approach to the issues important to the citizens of Jefferson County.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. Vote Leslie Cheek, my grandma, for County Council on August 6th. Let's move Jefferson County forward.
Paid for by friends of Leslie Cheek. Diane Berberick, Treasurer.
Friends, Joe Biden's inflation is hitting us hard. Gas and grocery prices are soaring, and our paycheck buys less and less each day. But as your representative, I've fought for lower taxes, cutting wasteful spending, and bringing jobs back to Missouri. I stand for hardworking families, not Jefferson City insiders. I ask for your vote again so I can continue to fight for you. Vote Philip Olerking for State Representative, District 100. Let's make Missouri strong again.
Paid for by Phil Olerking from Missouri, Charles Barker, Treasurer.
Attention thrill seekers and fun lovers. Did you know the Midwest's largest wooden roller rink is right here in Missouri? Welcome to Piccadilly Palace, your ultimate family entertainment destination. Glide across our massive skating floor, conquer arcade challenges, put your way through mini golf, and dive into cutting-edge virtual reality experiences. And coming soon, a relaxing bar and grill patio, state-of-the-art golf simulators, and heart-pounding two-story go-kart racing next to East Central College in Union, Missouri. Plan your visit now at PiccadillyPalace.com. That's PiccadillyPalace.com.
Are you tired of establishment politics? Meet Adam Schnelting, your true conservative choice for state senate. Adam Schnelting, husband, father, soldier, and member of the House Freedom Caucus. Adam authored the legislation that ended abortion in Missouri and is the grassroots candidate Jefferson City fears. Unlike his opponent Phil Cristofanelli, who's backed by lobbyists and Democrats, Adam's support comes from right here in St. Charles County. It's time for real conservative leadership. Vote Adam Schnelting for state senate.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John Royal, Treasurer.
Re-elect State Representative Tony Lavasco. Tony Lavasco eliminated licenses for home-based businesses. Tony Lavasco, rated 100% by the American Conservative Union. Tony Lavasco, the only candidate endorsed by Missouri Right to Life and by the NRA. Tony Lavasco, the only choice for small, limited government. On August 6th, vote Liberty. Vote Lavasco.
I'm Tony Lavasco, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Citizens for Lavasco. Dan Rakers, Treasurer.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomas. They are on their way home. 3 Americans imprisoned in Russia have reportedly been set free in a complex prisoner swap between Washington and Moscow.
The Americans considered by the U.S. to be wrongfully detained in Russia include Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and Paul Whelan, a corporate security executive from Michigan. Both had been convicted of espionage charges that the U.S. government considered baseless. Speculation had mounted for weeks that a swap was near because of a confluence of unusual developments, including a quick trial and conviction for Gershkovich that Washington regarded as a sham.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. Officials in Turkey say the exchange of prisoners took place in that country, a trade following years of secretive back-channel negotiations, despite relations between Washington and Moscow being at their lowest point since the Cold War, after Russian President Vladimir Putin's February 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Former President Trump's running mate on a campaign swing across the Southwest.
A Republican nominee for Vice President J.D. Vance plans to spend another day of campaigning in Arizona, where he's scheduled to visit Montezuma Pass near the Mexico border. Wednesday in Glendale, Arizona, Vance accused Democratic presidential candidate and current Vice President Kamala Harris of being fake.
Kamala Harris is a phony who caters to whatever audience is in front of her. I don't know if you saw this, but earlier this week, look up the clip. She went down to Georgia, and started talking with a fake Southern accent.
I'm Donna Water.
On Wall Street, the Dow down 377 points, NASDAQ off 150. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some quick-hitting storms produced gusty winds early this morning, but that rain is long gone at this point, so now we warm as the clouds thin. 95 this afternoon. Humid, too. Heat index from 103 to 107. Let's be ready for scattered thunderstorms redeveloping this afternoon and this evening. A couple of stronger storms could be in the mix. Down to 75 for the low tonight, and then the change we've been waiting for. Friday's forecast, just a low chance of a shower, but noticeably cooler at 88. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, hour number 2, ready to run and go. Ken Williams has us all set up. What a bang week you have put together for this show, Ken Williams.
Thanks, Vic.
And I just learned, the things you learn about your friends, guy I've known for 35 years. He studied geology in college.
Well, I don't want to go that far. I did study, yes, but I didn't make it my minor or anything like that.
Nothing I said was incorrect. You studied geology in college, and I learned that this morning, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, igneous, sedimentary,
that's why you're so
metamorphic
smart.
rock.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about. All right, let's go. Baseball music. 3 things. Oh, is he not here?
No. Well, no. The problem. I don't know anything about this producing thing.
Maybe you should have studied radio producing in college. How's that? Instead of there it is. He can be replaced. It's okay.
That's all right.
Nate Lucas, NateLucas.com. Hi, Nate. How are you?
I'm good. It sounds like it's a little chaotic in the studio.
It's crazy, Nate.
It's a crazy week, and just to throw in to make it a more hectic week, There's three things I want to talk about with you, so we have to leave time for all three things, okay? First thing,
Okay, I'll try to keep my answers short.
I don't think that's the problem. I think
No.
I just want to make sure we get to all three things because so much stuff is happening, breaking news right before our very ears here, and it's hard to get it all in. All right, so the big thing: Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and Paul Wayland are both being freed from Russia. And I thought I read this story a couple of times. I could be wrong. Fox News Digital is written by 12-year-olds. It doesn't say who they're being exchanged for, like a merchant of death, like the last time for Brittany Griner.
Well, I mean, at the very least, it's wonderful to hear that they're being released. I don't know what has taken this administration so long. They seem to have no issue getting Brittany Griner out, and I commend them for it. But you know, the fact, like the images of those journalists sitting in those glass boxes during their sham trials and knowing, you know, the harshness that they're going through. I mean, it's just how you feel for them and their families and how devastating that must be. But that is certainly good news.
And, you know, you're questioning the timing of it. All they needed was an upcoming election to take care of this, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's an old saying that Democrats like to use: never let a crisis go to waste. And so they'll show that this is our strength on the foreign stage. You know, look at how much the Biden-Harris administration was able to arm wrestle Putin into releasing the journalists, and they'll use it to their advantage.
Yep.
And yet we all know that it's, first of all, they're late to the party.
Yep.
So can you imagine, Vic and Nate, that they're going to say, do you see what Kamala Harris can do internationally?
Right, exactly right.
Yeah. Like I said last week, I think she believes, like Sarah Palin, she can see Russia from her backyard.
Right. All right. And I don't understand this one at all, but they're offering a plea deal to the mastermind of the 9/11 attacks, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. A plea deal? Really?
Wow. Well, what is the plea deal? I mean,
he doesn't die. He doesn't get the death penalty.
Well, okay. I'll tell you what my plea deal would be. I'm on my way to the airport right now, and we can place him strapped down, standing up, while the Southwest plane that I'm about to take off on runs him over. How about that?
Perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
30,000 feet. That'd be the only plea deal that I'd run amok with the terrorists.
That'd be kind of poetic, wouldn't it?
Sure would. A plane?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I actually believe in stiff penalties, like, you know, that Boston bomber. I think they should have put him in about, you know, a tiny little box and threw a self-made bomb in there and let him explode and see how much he enjoys that.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Why don't you run for the Supreme Court? Okay, so just a quick note on 9/11, okay? When 9/11 happened, as it was happening, we didn't know what was happening, right? And we, at the time, the station that Ken and I worked at was downtown at 1215 Cole Street, across the street from the Post-Dispatch in the ABC News building. And when we got there, as time went on, other radio stations in town used the national CNN feed and all that. Our station, for whatever reason, decided that Trish and I would do this coverage all day.
Yeah.
From 9 o'clock to
A music
6
station.
o'clock.
A music
A
station.
music station, Nate. And we did it. It exhausted me. And when it was done, I went home and I cried. And they're going to let this guy go, really?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I was really young, but I remember precisely where I was. You know, it's one of those moments, kind of like the Trump assassination attempt, where you never forget that day.
Right.
And it was a beautiful day. I mean, it was a clear blue sky day here in St. Louis, and Chaminade, where I went to school, they actually let us out. And you know, I just remember going home and being so confused and watching it all unravel on television and thinking to myself, like, what is going on? But I hate to cave in and acknowledge like defeat or wave the white flag, but you think about how much has changed in this free country since 9/11.
Yeah.
And it's extremely terrifying to think that, you know, again, going to the airport, like, we used to go to the airport, and I mean, it was no big deal. You could pretty much walk around freely. Now, you know, I mean, I'm getting ready to go get touched by a TSA agent. It's the most action I've gotten in years.
All right. So what's the message, though? What's the strength, the international strength message from the Biden camp or the Kamala camp on letting this happen? What's the message to us?
Well, I don't know. I mean, where was the strength last week when the Palestinian and Hamas supporters took over a Union Station in Washington, D.C. and tore down American flags and replaced them with Palestinian flags and put graffiti art all over, our statues in Liberty Bell? Like, where's the leadership there?
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because it happens all over. I mean, in the summer of love, right? That wasn't that long ago that Kamala Harris was bailing out these protesters in the great righteousness that she believes in, and yet, like, Americans just have to suffer through it. You just have to understand that this country no longer is one that can remain beautiful. You have to live, with people who are going to get bailed out by Kamala Harris while they tear down statues and burn American flags.
All right, we're talking to our buddy Nate Lucas. Next topic, Nate, is it finally happened. Something else, Ken, that we said on this show has happened. Men are boxing women. And yesterday there was yesterday there was a bout between a guy and a girl. And the girl quit after 46 seconds because she didn't want to die. She didn't want to have brain damage. How, really? I mean, did it really have to happen? We were kind of kidding. Back then we said, let's put a dress on Mike Tyson and have him box a woman and then, oops, I killed her. And then maybe they'll learn. They haven't learned, obviously, because they're having a woman box a man.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, this is so ironic. This morning I'm scrolling Instagram and like a little skit from a Joe Rogan stand-up popped on my feed, and I watched like the entire thing. And he was talking about remember during the Obama administration, a crazy lunatic like broke into the White House and ran around, literally got inside the White House and then was taken down by an off-duty police officer. But he proceeds to go, and this isn't an indictment like on women, but he goes, there was a female guard at the front of an unlocked door inside the White House, and she had no response to take down this rabid animal who was invading the White House. And he goes, I'm not proud of it, but like the three most important people in my family are my wife and my two daughters. I love them, but I could beat the living hell out of all three of them. And he's like, I'm not proud of that. That's just how it goes. And then he goes into like how Shaq, he said he's met Shaq. I mean, it's pretty funny, but the point is that it's not about, like this isn't to be against women or anything like that. It's a fact of matter. I've grown up with a dog my whole life. I could kick my dog's ass. Am I proud of that? No. Would I ever kick my dog's ass? No. But that's just how it goes. And so this is the lunacy that we see now on the left, and they have no idea where to hit the stop or put the brakes on. And it's gotten to the point where now men are boxing women, and it's being, somehow cheerleaded. I don't understand it, and it's Looney Tunes.
We got to stop allowing it to happen. That's the bottom line here. Trump was just at the National Association of Black Journalists, Nate, in Chicago, and he was speaking.
How about that?
And he slated. He was speaking truth. And the problem that the left has is when you speak truth to them, it's not woke, it's not DEI, it's none of that. It's just speaking fact, like you're doing, and like we all need to be doing, like Trump did.
Okay, that conference that he showed up to was amazing. I would encourage anybody who didn't watch it to go back and listen to how calmly he responded to these attacks. I mean, I don't know the name of that journalist, the first one who asked him the ridiculous questions. I think she was from ABC. But, would you think that any other former president would be greeted with such animosity when they sit down and answer questions from a panel? And I thought the reaction, you notice why a lot of print journalists they won't direct you to the video. They'll only give you the text, because in the text, you can kind of control the narrative. But if you actually go listen to his responses and then you listen to how the crowd reacts, it's pretty authentic, and you'll realize why people have no faith anymore in our media entities. And that lady asking Trump those questions was so out of line. I was embarrassed for her, And it was a bad look for, you know, a group of people, I guess, in terms of journalists that you would expect more out of. And that's a room full of people, you know, that are trying to get jobs where someday maybe they can sit on a panel and ask a former president and hopefully future president questions. And that's how that ABC reporter acted. I mean, you talk about a complete derelict.
Yep.
That lady she should lose all of her credentials. If I employed her, I would be embarrassed and she would be fired immediately.
Yeah.
By the way, her name is Rachel Scott.
Yeah, well, wow, what a beauty. I mean, she is dumb as a box of rocks, and the way that she handled any sort of she lost all credibility in terms of having any coherent conversation whatsoever. I mean, that was truly a display of just arrogance.
All right, going back to the Rogan thing that you saw, a guy getting into the White House. I guess another failure by the Secret Service to have somebody get into the White House. And now that we've just said that, obviously another failure on July 13th when they allowed this kid to shoot President Trump. And new footage was released yesterday, Nate, by one of the guys who Haver Carpin, one of the guys that was shot, was taking this video. And while Trump is talking, over Trump's head is that kid Crooks running back and forth on the roof. And the Secret Service never saw it.
Yeah, I saw that video, and I mean, I watched it and wanted to confirm that it was real because I couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, I'm like, they said that he was in this stealth position from the angle where Trump was. You could barely see him. I mean, none of this adds up. And I'm sorry. We've now seen Ms. Cheadle resign. I heard most of the new guy the other day fielding questions. It's amazing to me how they just continuously blame the local police. Yeah. I mean, you know, this is an agency that gets billions of dollars in our tax revenue to do exactly the job that they failed at 3 weeks ago. And yet they are blaming the Butler Township local police. And now you see these videos that are emerging. And I'm telling you, we have not even gotten into any portion of this topic that I think we're going to eventually find out, because there are so many more questions, the more videos that we see, the lack of transparency, and now the lies that we can confirm based on videos that you piece together and what Cheadle had to say. It's hard to not think that this was just like a complete inside job. I'm sorry. I'll try to take the tinfoil hat off, but
no,
seems to me like they allowed it to happen.
I know where your head's at, and I was just going to say the same thing. Vic and I have not said that, but we've been talking about, here are facts. Here are the facts. And the more we start to find out about these videos and where they were and how long it took them to figure out, hey, there's a guy with a gun on the roof and everybody's yelling at him and we're not doing anything and Trump's on the stage. They didn't take him off the stage. Why didn't they take him off the stage for 5 minutes before it happened? I mean, Nate, you got to think one thing, right? I mean, everything starts to lean toward a inside job.
The C word.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And yet they keep saying, like, this guy, they were made aware of him, and they talk in code like he was a level 1 threat. That's not exactly what they say, but not a level 2 threat. And I'm like, what the hell does it take to go from level 1 to level 2? This guy's got a rangefinder. He's climbing up on a building in proximity to a president to try to shoot the guy. And the parents had called the local police. I mean, it's amazing to me, the breakdowns in communication. And the fact that they had people that were texting and not everybody was in communication. It's amazing to me how the failures unraveled that day.
And I would also like to say that, but it's so hard to not say that word. Okay. But why was that building outside the perimeter? All right. I just want to say right here, right now, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. If you're 450 feet away, according to Google Maps, 450 feet away from the street you have to make a right on, you can read the street sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's amazing, the whole thing, and the fact that again, Donald Trump was somehow, not struck directly in the head and killed.
Divine intervention, buddy.
And then you got, these people, including Christopher Wray, who sit there and go, "There's still, we're not quite sure if it was a bullet that struck Donald Trump." I mean, the sickness of these people is they're totally deranged. Trump derangement syndrome is worse than stage 5 cancer, I believe. And a lot of people have it, and they're showing their true colors when they open their mouths about this topic.
Nate, it makes me absolutely sick. And it just kind of, it more embellishes our point that something weird was going on when Christopher Wray says, with all respect to President Trump, he was grazed by some shrapnel or glass or something. Oh my God! All right, we're
why would he say that?
That's my point.
These are the same people that claim that Republicans need to tone down the rhetoric.
Right.
Screw you.
Right. Screw you.
To hell.
But then representatives from the FBI, they came out just yesterday and said, "No, we know for sure it was a bullet."
Right, and of course it was a bullet.
Yeah.
I wish tomorrow's I wish tomorrow's newspaper's headline would have the name Nate Lucas and then the colon, which signifies it's going to be a quote. Nate Lucas, screw you. Nate, thank you, baby. Safe travels, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll talk next week.
And if you see that Sheikh Mohammed, run him down. Run him over.
Please.
Or call J.D. Vance's Mima.
Have a safe trip, Nate.
All right. Senator Bill Eigel, State Senator Bill Eigel, current Missouri governor candidate, is coming up at 10:41. And coming up next in Porcelli's Deli, it's going to be the Olympics, but Olympics past. Some of the things that happened in my life that made me a freak for the Olympics, and why I can name every single Olympic city, no matter what year you give me, I'll tell you what city it was in. I don't know. It's all next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Now, my mama died shortly before I left for Iraq in 2005. And when we went through things, we found 19 loaded handguns.
The roughest, toughest hombre has ever crossed the Rio Grande.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Missourians, our future is under attack. Tax hike Mike is fixing to devour your hard-earned money with gas taxes galore and another sky-high fee on your next car purchase. Kehoe's policies will flat-out destroy your wallet. His big old bus is fueled by donations from Chinese communists and George Soros surrogates. But there's hope. Jay Ashcroft, the true leader who fights with integrity against the lies, higher taxes, and the Jefferson City swamp. Vote Jay Ashcroft for governor now.
Paid for by Friends of Jay Ashcroft PAC. Alexandra Lang, Treasurer.
Biden's border crisis, China buying our farmland, Sam Page disrespecting our seniors. We're under attack. It's time to fight. I'm David Gregory. I created a law that authorizes Missouri to detain illegal immigrants. I've never voted for China to buy Missouri farmland, and I sued Sam Page to give our seniors their tax freeze. I'm David Gregory. I'm already fighting for you as your next state senator.
Paid for by Gregory for Missouri. Joe Garavaglia, Treasurer.
Hey, it's Columbo for Capriotti's Sandwich Shop. Capriotti's is famous for setting themselves apart due to their dedication to superior quality and ingredients like slow-roasted, hand-pulled whole turkey and American Wagyu straight from Snake River Farms. That dedication to superior quality is evident from the very first bite into a Capriotti sandwich. Visit Capriotti's Sandwich Shop 7 days a week at the corner of Manchester and McKnight in Rock Hill, and get more info, including how to impress at your next event with their great catering at capriottis.com.
Hi, this is former St. Louis County Police Chief Tim Fitch. I am proud to endorse my friend Mark Carter for State Senate District 15. Other local leaders endorsing Mark include Chesterfield Mayor Bob Nation, Baldwin Mayor Tim Pogue, Eureka Mayor Sean Flower, and Ellisville Mayor Mike Romerman, among many others. They know what I know, that Mark is the type of conservative leader we need in Jefferson City. Mark Carter, the right choice for State Senate 15 and my choice. Vote smarter, vote harder in the August 6th primary.
Paid for by citizens to elect Mark Harder. Chuck McCluskey, Treasurer.
NewstalkSTL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on NewstalkSTL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
The wait is over. President Trump endorses Bill Eigel for governor. Bill Eigel, true America First conservative and the first to endorse President Trump. Bill Eigel is the only candidate who will take on the Jeff City swamp. Listen to Trump-endorsed conservative Bill Eigel.
We'll round up illegal immigrants and get rid of them, period. We'll ban Chinese ownership of our land and take back everything they stole. And we'll go by how God made us, not some stupid woke pronouns. They'll call us racist, sexist, God knows what else. And that's how we'll know we're winning.
Bold conservative Bill Eigel. Ban personal property taxes. Deport every single illegal immigrant in Missouri. Bill Eigel. Politicians hate him, special interests fear him, and Trump endorsed him. Vote Trump-endorsed Bill Eigel for governor. Believe in Life and Liberty PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this communication, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.billpac.com.
Colombo and Company.
The Harris campaign just unveiled a confusing strategy. We'll talk about it, plus preview Tuesday's elections on Thursday with Crane Durham, Rep. Justin Sparks, and Dr. Randy Tobler.
Live and local, weekdays at 2
on NewstalkSTL. Welcome to Porcelli's Deli.
Yes, very good. I'll have a Bloody Mary and a steak sandwich and a steak sandwich, please.
Come on, go over here.
Ketchup. Where's the ketchup at?
I bet the Chinese food here is terrible.
With Vic Porcelli.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot.
Porcelli's Deli is moved to 1019 and 94.1 NewstalkSTL. Come on in. We're open. Have a seat. Vic will tell you a story.
Come on in. And welcome to Porcelli's Deli. I'm Vic Porcelli. Today we're going to talk about the Olympics. Wait. Come back to your radio. Come back to the radio. I don't mean these Olympics. I mean Olympics past. Because my whole life I have adored the Olympics, especially the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
I loved that it was athletes from all over the world coming to compete in a certain city. And I also loved that they were all amateurs as far as America went. And yeah, I know, but the Russians do their, okay, so we got to, because they do something wrong, we got to do something wrong. 2 wrongs don't make a right. But we went and did it. We did the 2 wrongs. Now, professional athletes can be in the Olympics. All right, so a couple of current Olympic things. This 3-on-3 basketball is not working for me at all. It's half court.
Oh, really?
3-on-3, half court basketball. It's like you would see it in any playground in America. There's nothing special about it. And it's people that didn't make the team, didn't make the actual team. How good can they be? I didn't see 1 3-pointer made in all that 3-by-3 I've watched, but I haven't watched the whole lot. But anyway, so going back to 1964, the Tokyo Olympics was a guy named Bob Hayes. And in the Olympics, see, this is another cool thing about the Olympics. When you win the 100-meter dash, you are deemed the fastest person in the world, the fastest man in the world.
Right.
And it's still to this day. Whoever wins that 100 meters is the fastest man in the world. And Bob Hayes won it. And then Bob Hayes went on to play wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys and wore number 22. And it was so cool for me because, like, I remember that guy from the Olympics. Now, keep in mind, I'm like, 8 years old or whatever I was. And so that was 1964. In 1968 in Mexico City, I remember there was an altitude problem because I guess Mexico City has a high altitude and they had to use oxygen and all that stuff. And one of the good things, good thing, bad thing. Good thing was a guy named Bob Beeman. These names are just etched into my brain, Ken. He set a world record for the long jump. And I remember he had his hands over his face and he covered his face because he was so happy. He was crying because he was so happy.
Yeah.
And by the way, that happened in the pool. Some girl from not a swimming powerhouse country. She won the gold medal and she couldn't stop crying. And I was like, see, this is what it's all about, you know?
Yeah.
So Bob Beeman, that was a good thing. Bad thing. Tommy Smith and John Carlos came in first and second in an event, and they took their track shoes off and they were just there in black socks, and each one had a black glove, and they put the glove fist in the air like a black power thing, which I was all for, that cause, but not at the Olympics. Don't do it at the Olympics.
Yeah, and that just follows along with what we feel about the professional sports here in today.
1972 was the Munich Olympics. Nothing worse than an attack on the Israeli Olympic team by some Arab terrorists. And if you're old enough to remember, there was a guy with a white hat. One of the terrorists had a white hat.
Yeah.
That came down. And it's such, I can see it right now in my head.
And he had glasses?
Yeah, I think, sunglasses.
Yeah,
he had sunglasses, yeah. And that was terrible. And wasn't Chris Schenkel. It was Jim McKay. My God. I can't remember what I had for breakfast for dinner. Jim McKay at one point came on and he said, they're all gone. And that was his way of saying they killed every single person on the Israeli athletic team. So that was terrible. Another competition-related thing, and Ken, I was in the hospital. I had to get my knee operated on, and I was in the hospital watching the USA play the Soviet Union in basketball. Up to that point, the U.S. Olympic men's team won the gold medal every single year, never lost a game for like a million years in a row. And they kept stopping the clock and putting more time back on the clock for the Russians. And the Russians ended up beating the United States. And I was just so mad at that. And then, of course, Mark Spitz, absolutely a Jewish guy, by the way.
Yeah.
You remember that Sports Illustrated picture with all the gold medals around his neck and spread across? So that was that. 1976, I guess, was kind of uneventful in Montreal. I don't remember much about that. But the next Olympics was 1980, and that was in Moscow, and we boycotted. We didn't go because the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan.
Yep.
Now we'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, way to go.
Right?
You're right.
But back then it wasn't. So we boycotted. We didn't go. The next Olympics in 1984, oddly enough, in Los Angeles, in America, and they boycotted. They didn't come here.
Right.
So the Russians dominated the 1980 Olympics because there were no Americans, and the Americans dominated in 1984 because we're Americans and we're badass. That was Carl Lewis. You remember Carl Lewis?
Oh, yeah.
Flo-Jo. Remember Flo-Jo?
Flo-Jo, yeah.
Florence Griffith Joyner, who are two different people, by the way. And 84 was just a monster year for the Olympics. There was a girl who ran the marathon. She wasn't going to win. She was like, the heat exhaustion almost made her look like she had cerebral palsy when she was running. She was that screwed up, but she didn't quit. She wouldn't let anybody help her. She wanted to go to the finish line. That's what the Olympics are to me. Finish the race, no matter what.
You just reminded me of something. It was like I was there yesterday. When I was a kid, probably about 11 or 12 years old, our neighborhood was gigantic, okay? And we actually celebrated the Olympics by having our own meets, our own swimming, our own track. And parents got involved and started scheduling everything every day. It lasted for like probably a month and the whole summer, really.
Mm-hmm.
And we participated in our own version. We had ribbons. We had the ceremonies with the national anthem.
Oh my God!
It just popped into my head. We had pools. You know, some of the parents that were a little more well off, they had big pools, and we would have the actual swimming events there.
Love that.
It was great. God, I forgot about that.
So
Thanks,
that was,
Vic.
I'm here for you, man. 1984. 1988 was in Seoul, South Korea. This is so stupid. What I remember most about that Olympics is Bob Costas, who anchored the late night coverage on NBC. And he did it for a few days. And then one day he had these big horn ring glasses on, right? Because his contacts were bothering him, we found out later. And he comes on and he says, "Hi, I'm Poindexter." Because like from come on, Poindexter and Peabody, Mr. Peabody.
Yeah.
He had those big glasses on, and that just made me laugh that he had that kind of a sense of humor to make fun of himself wearing the glasses. So that was 88. 92, good and bad, professionals got to play in the Olympics. And you know my whole feeling on that. I love Jim Thorpe, 1912 Olympics in Stockholm. King Gustav called him the greatest athlete in the world, and Jim Thorpe said, "Thanks, King."
They would call you an Olympics purist.
Yeah. And I still feel that way today, because I know our college kids can beat the Russians or anybody else in basketball, South Sudan, you know. So, but Mr. Hypocrite that I am, I will sit and watch a highlight reel of that dream team from 1992 any day.
Yeah.
You know, Magic Johnson passing to Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. You know, it was incredible to watch. But that was that. 92, 96 Olympics in Atlanta. That was the Mary Lou Retton gymnastics team.
Oh, yeah.
Kerry Strug made that vault on a broken ankle
Right.
that won it, right? It also, we talked about this yesterday a little bit, that Evander Holyfield ran in with the Olympic torch and handed it to Muhammad Ali, who was racked with Parkinson's, and his arm was shaking trying to light that thing, but he did it. 1996, 2000 was in Sydney. I don't know. But being a kid, it was everything to me. The Olympics were everything to me, and they've screwed it all up. And now guys are going to beat up women in the boxing ring, and I am disgusted. That's all the time we have for Porcelli's Deli.
You start out with a little bit of oil, and you fry some garlic. Then you throw in some tomatoes, tomato paste, you fry it, you make sure it doesn't stick. You got it to a boil, you shove in all your sausage and your meatballs, and a little bit of wine, and a little bit of sugar, and that's my trick.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show. Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president. We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue, and after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions, and they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
On August 6th, your vote will shape our community's future. Introducing Representatives John Simmons and Kyle Marquardt, two candidates with starkly different records. John Simmons, a staunch conservative, has consistently cut taxes and defended parents' rights for education choice. He believes in limited government and safeguarding our privacy. Simmons even championed legislation to secure our elections, ensuring integrity at every step. In contrast, Kyle Marquardt voted to expand welfare and increase government spending, and also supported invasive, warrantless government drone searches. When it comes to protecting your rights and hard-earned money, the choice is clear. John Simmons is not just making promises, he's delivered real results. It's time to make your voice heard in the Republican primary. Vote John Simmons, the representative with the proven conservative voting record. Paid for by Nova PAC, James Murphy, Treasurer.
This is Katie McKinney, founder and head of school for Lafayette Academy in Lake St. Louis. Recently, we had a new second grader come to Lafayette Academy who claimed he was stupid and hated reading. Within months of using our world-class literacy program, he was reading Harry Potter and loving it. He had just not been given the right tools. This is what true education is all about, giving our kids the tools so they can be successful. To learn more, go to LafayetteAcademy.org. That's LafayetteAcademy.org.
I'm Jim Bolin, running to represent West St. Louis County in the Missouri Senate. Growing up in Texas County, my dad always said, all hat and no cattle, about those who talk big but do little. I built a successful business, cleaned up City Hall as mayor, and now I'm ready to clean up Jefferson City. We need to jail repeat offenders, stop taxpayer funding for illegals, cut taxes, protect our children, and defend our liberties from the radical left. I'm Jim Bolin, and I would appreciate your vote on August the 6th. Let's get it done.
Paid for by Bolin from Missouri, Cindy Samagi, Treasurer.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Spend the weekend in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Every weekend, enjoy festivals and events, including Thursday Night Live at Cedarhurst, Market Days Back to School Bash, Hand Up Summit, Historical Village Ice Cream Social, Zombie Outbreak at the Haunted Woods, citywide yard sales, third Saturdays in Mount Vernon Flea Market and Vendor Fair, concerts at the Granada Theater, special events at C.E. Brem Memorial Library, Cedarhurst Blues, Brews, and Bourbon, Cool Up at the Aquatic Zoo, and so much more. Creativity redefined in Mount Vernon. Visit enjoymountvernon.com. Brought to you in part by Mount Vernon Tourism and Enjoy Illinois.
Fox News commentary.
Joe Rogan made a prediction about the upcoming election, and it's gut-wrenching. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Pastor Joe Rogan is not a fortune teller or even a political pundit, but he does have an enormous reach and popularity in America, and he has his finger on the pulse of the average person. That's why it's super concerning that on a recent episode of his podcast, Rogan warned that Kamala Harris will likely win the election. He predicts this will be the case because American viewers and voters are buying into the, quote, BS anti-Trump narrative more than ever before. Rogan sees the writing on the wall. The media has its thumb on the scale, and it's tipping in the direction of Kamala Harris. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about the same phenomenon. The Democrats played a shady yet strategic game this election. They pulled their candidate about 100 days before Election Day and threw in what they are treating as the bright new shiny object, Kamala. Her honeymoon high could very well last till November. The media is on her side, fundraising on her side. Hollywood has her back. This is going to be an uphill battle. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
This hour, The Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
I had a guardian angel by my side. I called her Mamaw. Now, she once told me, when she found out that I was spending too much time with a local kid who was known for dealing drugs, that if I ever hung out with that kid again, she would run him over with her car. And she said, JD, no one will ever find out.
On News Talk STL.
I can't tell you how much I love that story. I will run him over with my car. Hey, Election Day is this Tuesday. News Talk STL is all the coverage you need. Tony and I will be here in the studio. Everybody contributing. Even my man Ken will be the chat box king, as you are.
Yeah, we will.
And we'll have him on the air, too, of course. All brought to you by Great Harvest Bread Company in Maplewood, your neighborhood bakery. Visit them at greatharvestmaplewood.com. All right here on News Talk STL, your home for America Decides 2024. All right, Bill Eigel is joining us today. He is a current state senator. He is a candidate for governor and apparently a big flaming liberal. God, Bill, what's happened to you?
Good morning, Vic. Thanks for having me. I know it's kind of crazy. For the past 8 years, the media has been referring to me as this ultra MAGA, super conservative, hardline, one of the most conservative senators to ever serve in the Missouri Senate. And then overnight, my opponents want you to believe I'm a liberal. Well, I guess when I got the Donald J. Trump endorsement for my candidacy over the weekend, I guess most of those lies are now going to go into the dustbin of history. So here we are, and we're doing well.
It wasn't just liberal; it was flaming.
Yeah, flaming. Maybe it was a flamethrower you were using in one of the the
Oh
commercials.
no, I don't think so. I think they're
No?
using flaming like we would use flaming, if you know
okay.
what I mean. All right, let's move on before we get into trouble there. All right, so let's talk about policies and things. Slashing the budget's one of your priorities. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big part of my economic plan, which is centered around the idea that, first of all, we're going to get rid of two taxes. Personal property tax is going away in Missouri, and income taxes are going away in Missouri. And the way we're going to get the surpluses we need in our government to make both of those things happen is we are cutting the budget down in Jefferson City. This budget in Jefferson City has grown by $25 billion just in the past 5 years. Mike Kehoe and Mike Parson have grown government more in this state in 5 years than every Democratic governor combined going back to the founding of the state. The total amount we receive in income taxes and personal property taxes is just over $10 billion. So if we could just get all this growth under control and go back to what we were spending in 2015, we would be able to get rid of those taxes virtually overnight. And that's what we should have been doing. I think there's a lot of frustration with Republicans around the state because instead of making government smaller, guys like Mike Kehoe and Mike Parson have been making it bigger than ever. I mean, that's why Mike Kehoe's getting big checks from the Bill Gates family right now, because they know he's the liberal he's been acting like down in Jefferson City. I'm going to change all that. We're going to bring a reckoning to Jefferson City.
So I got to ask, how does it get so big? I mean, the budget in the state hasn't always been $50 billion. How does it get that big? You know what it's like? It's easy to get fat. I'm piece of cake for me, but losing the weight is so hard. How does the budget get so big and out of control?
Because you have a bunch of center-left politicians that are claiming to be Republicans down there, but really are just interested in making government as big as it's ever been and caving to all these special interests that are receiving all this money. That's why when I talk about bringing a reckoning to this town, we're not going to be able to get those dollars back by having somebody in the governor's mansion who's going to want to compromise and make a bunch of deals with the swamp. I'm the one that's talking about being the candidate, being the governor of this state by confronting the swamp. I'm going to tell these special interests, no, we're getting the taxpayer money back, and we're going to turn it into the biggest tax cut plan the state has ever seen. So you guys know I'm kind of a controversial guy. I guess I'm controversial because I don't get along with these special interest lobbyists and some of these rhino Republicans down there in Jefferson City. And that is going to be at the forefront of what I'm doing to cut that budget and cut our taxes once we're in office.
All right. In the domino effect theory, let's say you win this election, then somebody's got to replace you. And it better not be one of these guys who runs as a conservative, and then all of a sudden they get down to Jefferson City and they vote like a little rhino.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we've got a pretty good recent heritage in St. Charles County of putting in actual conservatives into office. Remember, we had Bob Onder was representing Western St. Charles County. He's he's a good friend of mine, great conservative. Of course, I've been doing my best in Eastern St. Charles County. Now we got Nick Schroer representing Bob's old seat in Western St. Charles County. And the race to replace me, just saw some polling this morning that Adam Schnelting is pulling ahead in that race. Adam's probably been one of the most solid conservatives, not just in what he's saying, but what he's doing down in Jefferson City that I've seen in a long time. So, I'm very optimistic that St. Charles County is going to continue to send the right conservatives down to Jefferson City to represent them.
Hey, Bill, you're talking about lots of tax cuts, and I love that personally. But then I hear, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because I hear on the other side saying sometimes that, well, what are we going to do to replace that money? What is your argument there?
Fire people.
Exactly. What's your argument, Bill?
Yeah.
What's your argument?
We're going to start cutting government. I mean, none of the problems you guys have heard me say this before. None of these problems in this state have anything to do with a lack of sacrifice on the part of the taxpayer sending their cash to government somewhere. And as I said, the government has doubled in size. I've yet to meet a person that thinks they're getting twice from government what they were just a few years ago. So there isn't a single department down in Jefferson City that doesn't need to see pretty significant cuts. And if we actually had a fiscal conservative that wasn't blinded by caving to these special interests that want all this money, we would have been able to cut these taxes a long time ago. But we didn't do that, and as a result, Missouri is stagnating. I'm going to be the guy that's going to bring a reckoning to all these folks that have created a grift off of our tax dollars. We're wasting tens of billions of dollars every single year, and it's become the standard for the Mike Kehoe, Mike Parson regime.
No, I'm not really sure I know too much about how government works, Bill. I've only been doing this for a few years. Can you, at some point, if you're the governor, call some Republicans in to your office, especially the ones like Caleb Rowden and people like that, and say, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah, of course we can. But I tell you what, even before I have to do that, the governor has a huge amount of influence over the budget. He recommends the budget. He has line item veto authority over the budget. He has withhold authority over the budget. And he's actually in charge of every one of the executive branch departments that are tasked with spending the money if he thinks that's appropriate in the first place. So I think it'd be more powerful. And thankfully, Caleb Rowden will be out of politics because he's term limited. But there's a line of other rhinos that want to take his place. Lincoln Huff is the next one in line. And we got to make sure that these folks understand that we're going to make government a heck of a lot smaller than what it is right now. And when we do that, we're going to be cutting the tax burden. And the people I'm going to be putting them accountable for is the people of this state. Every person is going to know who is who down in Jefferson City if they're betraying what they said they do in campaign season.
Yeah, Vic, I've been hearing a lot of things about Lincoln Huff being a real rhino.
Yeah, I don't know much about the guy. So listen, I don't mean to sound crass when I say fire people, but this is a little bit more at stake than Kenny or I losing a radio job, right? I mean, I've lost jobs here in St. Louis, not for anything, no fault of my own,
right?
Cutbacks and all that stuff.
Sure.
And nobody gave a damn,
No.
But when it comes to, state workers, nobody wants to get rid of a state worker because I don't know, they work for the state. So I don't mean to sound crass about it, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Well, how about this? I mean, but even, of that 55,000 person state workforce, 5,000 to 7,000 of those positions are empty, and we're paying for them anyway. Before we have to print out a single pink slip, let's get rid of these empty positions and stop paying.
What does that mean, empty positions? What the hell is going on down there? What does that mean?
Yeah, it is unbelievable to me, and that's why I vote against all these budget bills. Thousands of positions which are funded by the government in these budget bills every year are not even filled, and we don't know where the money's going because nobody's paying any attention at all about the fiscal sanity of our budget. All these representatives and senators that are voting for these budget bills have no idea where this money is going. It is getting wasted. If we just got rid of the empty positions that aren't being filled right now, we could save hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's why I'm so confident that when I go in there, we're going to have amazing, immediate success reining in the finances of our state. Mike Parson and Mike Kehoe, these guys have been the worst fiscal stewards of our money in Missouri history. That's how, and to hear Mike Kehoe running around the state claiming to be a conservative is the biggest insult levied against every one of the 6 million Missourians in this state who I think are going to show up and have roundly reject his idea of big government and more spending next Tuesday.
You mentioned that name again, Parson. That sounds so familiar to me, but I can't really place it. All right, last thing, Bill. Oh, my God. And real quick, we got to go. 14 hours ago, you had a tweet that said, you ought to be able to own a bazooka if you want one. I loved that.
Well, the reason we have the Second Amendment is not so that the government is preserving our right to hunt. The reason we have the Second Amendment is to protect ourselves from government.
Right.
That's why we have the Second Amendment. And I tell you, the federal government wants to come in here and put every restriction they can on your right to own firearms and be able to protect yourself from government because they don't want us to have any firearms at all. So I'm a big advocate. You guys know this. I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. We're always going to protect your right to bear arms. Shall not be infringed. Sounds pretty self-explanatory to me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Campaign website?
BillEigel.com, the greatest website you'll ever visit.
Is that right? Okay.
It's a great website, BillEigel.com. Check it out. It's got a platform on there. You can sign up to get a yard sign, to volunteer for the campaign. Tuesday's right around the corner. Let's go, Missouri.
All right, Bill, thanks so much for being with us.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a great morning.
You too.
Am I getting too... Bill, was that not... Should I have said Senator Eigel?
No, you're fine.
I don't want to seem disrespectful to anyone, Ken.
You're not being disrespectful.
I'm not a big shot like you.
Hey, guess what? Guess what, Vic? They're working for us, okay?
Oh, yeah.
The American people.
That's what people forget. We don't work for them. They work for us.
And they respect that, too. The
And
people who do.
If you want to own a bazooka, you can have a bazooka.
Right. And I love that.
I do, too. Hey, thanks so much for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Ken, thank you so much, man. You are working your ass off for the show, and I appreciate you, okay?
Oh, thank you, Vic.
Dan Bongino's next. Kenny and Al, see you tomorrow on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Whoosh.
The wait is over. President Trump endorses Bill Eigel for governor. Bill Eigel, true America First conservative and the first to endorse President Trump. Bill Eigel is the only candidate who will take on the Jeff City swamp. Listen to Trump-endorsed conservative Bill Eigel.
We'll round up illegal immigrants and get rid of them, period. We'll ban Chinese ownership of our land and take back everything they stole. And we'll go by how God made us, not some stupid woke pronouns. They'll call us racist, sexist, God knows what else. And that's how we'll know we're winning.
Bold conservative Bill Eigel. Ban personal property taxes. Deport every single illegal immigrant in Missouri. Bill Eigel. Politicians hate him, special interests fear him, and Trump endorsed him. Vote Trump-endorsed Bill Eigel for governor. Believe in Life and Liberty PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this communication, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.billpac.com.
Tired of talk about election integrity? Shane Scholler takes action. As the chief election authority in one of Missouri's largest counties, Shane's proven plan stops non-citizens from voting and secures our elections. A lifelong conservative, Shane stands firm, pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and ready to protect your vote on day one. Don't just talk about stopping fraud. Elect someone who's done it. Shane Scholler for Secretary of State. Learn more at shaneforsos.com.
Paid for by Scholler from Missouri, Justin Hill, Treasurer.
Tim Jones here with Dr. Pat Fader of Comprehensive Chiropractic. Doc, I hear you all have a new treatment program for everyone's chronic knee pain.
Tim, that's right. We are helping patients with chronic knee pain by addressing the root cause of their condition.
And what makes your program so unique?
Well, Tim, many programs focus on just one component of the problem, the structural component. Our program focuses on the metabolic and neurologic component to complete the picture and improve our patients' outcomes. We get to the root cause of what is driving inflammation in a person's body and address it directly.
For your chronic knee pain and more, visit cchiropractic.com. All information, make an appointment at cchiropractic.com.
My name is Justin Sparks, and I am running for re-election to the Missouri House of Representatives, District 110. I have been knocking on thousands of doors, and I want you to know I've heard your concerns. As a former police officer, I heard your concern about the wide-open southern border and wanting to keep our neighborhoods safe. I will continue to fight to protect your Second Amendment, and I will fight to protect the lives of the unborn. I will fight to keep the woke ideology from infecting our schools and affecting our children's future. Go to sparksformissouri.com and tell me what you think, and stand with me on August 6th.
Paid for by Sparks from Missouri, Tim Fitch, Treasurer.
Tony Colombo here for Cadre Asset Management. A cadre is defined as a small group of people specially trained for a particular purpose or profession, and that is the role that Cadre Asset Management can play in your financial journey. Learn more about how they can help secure your financial future by following Cadre Asset Management on Facebook, or just go to cadreassetmgmt.com.
Cadre Asset Management is a Missouri-based independent advisory firm licensed under and securities and investment advisory services offered through Founders Financial Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
Attention voters. The truth about Phil Cristofanelli may surprise you.
As state representative, Phil was endorsed by Promo, a Democrat-led LGBTQIA+ organization with extreme views.
Promo pushes for sex changes for kids, males and girls sports and bathrooms, and teaching gender confusion in schools.
Phil's record speaks for itself.
He voted to allow boys and girls sports.
And pushed to teach sexual orientation and gender identity in public schools.
Is this the leadership we want? Think carefully when you vote.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John Royal, Treasurer.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. 3 U.S. citizens imprisoned in Russia, including Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, are being released under a prisoner exchange deal. From Moscow, BBC correspondent Steve Rosenberg.
I think the takeaway for Russia is that hostage diplomacy works. And that's why I think we can expect to see more of this kind of thing. We can expect to see more prisoners in Russia, be it foreigners, be it Russian citizens, being used as bargaining chips. So, of course, a day for celebrating the release of Western citizens and Russian dissidents. But looking ahead, I think that this will possibly embolden Russia to do more of the same.
8 Russian nationals expected to be returned to Russia, including several with suspected ties to Russian intelligence. Also at townhall.com, a person has been killed in a wildfire burning in the Colorado foothills, as numerous blazes are torching large areas around the western U.S. It happened near Lyons, Colorado. The number of Americans filing for jobless claims has hit the highest level in a year.
The Labor Department says jobless claims for the week ending July 27th climbed by 14,000 to 249,000. That's the most since the first week of August last year, and the 10th straight week that claims have come in above 220,000. Before that stretch, claims had remained below that level in all but 3 weeks this year. Weekly unemployment claims are widely considered as representative of layoffs, and though they've been slightly higher the past couple of months, they remain at historically healthy levels. I'm Shelley Adler.
After yesterday's gains, all 3 major indexes down more than 1%. More at townhall.com.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some quick-hitting storms produced gusty winds early this morning, but that rain is long gone at this point, so now we warm as the clouds thin. 95 this afternoon. Humid, too. Heat index from 103 to 107. Let's be ready for scattered thunderstorms redeveloping this afternoon and this evening. A couple of stronger storms could be in the mix. Down to 75 for the low tonight, and then the change we've been waiting for. Friday's forecast, just a low chance of a shower, but noticeably cooler at 88. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Hey, Colombo here for the great team at All Solutions Pest Control. We've been using pest control services at our home for years, and the results we've had with All Solutions are second to none. So if you're experiencing a pest problem, or more importantly, want to prevent a problem, All Solutions Pest Control are the ones to call. Right now, you can take advantage of their incredible $67 introductory offer. Learn more and contact them now at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
St. Charles County is a great county and community.
Joe Brazel supports smart growth.
In recent years, there has been an explosion of growth, an increase of apartment buildings by 180%. Explosive growth is not good for our citizens. It causes major strains on our resources. Having a rural area in our county and preserving our heritage is very important by not wiping out every tree and contaminating our water.
Joe Brazel, a true patriot working for you.
I'm Joe Brazel, running for St. Charles County Council, District 2, vote August 6th.
Paid for by Citizens for Joe Brazel. Mike Summers, Treasurer.
Seavers JCB is where you need to go for the industry's best compact track loaders, featuring the iconic single-arm JCB power boom and side door entry. JCB compact track loaders are stronger and safer than conventional twin-arm machines, and they deliver the power and performance you need. For a limited time, get financing rates as low as 0.99% on new JCB compact track loaders, or take a generous cash incentive. Stop into your local Seavers JCB or visit SeaversJCB.com.
Are you ready for positive change in Jefferson County?
Hi, I'm Billy Crow, and I'm running for Jefferson County Council because I believe in a brighter future for our community. I spent my life working hard and listening to the needs of our neighbors. Together, we can build better schools, safer neighborhoods, and a stronger local economy.
Billy Crow has always been there for our community.
I trust Billy to bring fresh ideas and real solutions to Jefferson County.
Vote for a leader who cares. Vote Billy Crow for Jefferson County Council.
I'm Billy Crow, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Billy Crow. Joyce Jenner, Treasurer.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here. Join me every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk STL for a little fun with finance. We'll talk about taxes, the economy, finance, and most importantly, how to enjoy the lifestyle you deserve.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tune in on Sunday and visit serenitynowtax.com for your free copy of my book, The New Holistic Retirement. That's serenitynowtax.com.
Serenity Now! News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
All right, so I got a lot of questions. First, obviously, that new Secret Service video. Well, the video from one of the victims of the shooting emerged. I want to be precise. That matters. And obviously, I'm going to get to that because, folks, we're getting to the point now where we all have to start asking really simple Occam's razor type questions. Given all possible explanations, except the one that requires the least amount of assumptions. At what point do we start saying to ourselves, and again, I'm a man who's going to always be guided by evidence. I would rather lose 10 listeners who want me to make speculative leaps of faith and then gain 100 who want the facts than the other way around. I'm not doing that. However, at what point do we start saying to ourselves, this is only explainable by negligence, possibly borderline criminal negligence, or malfeasance? I don't understand. Like nothing the Secret Service has told us at this point from the management level about this catastrophic event that led to the shooting of 3 people, including Donald Trump, and the murder of Corey Comparator. Nothing they've told us has panned out. Nothing. This new video's emerged where you can see what appears to be the shooter navigating around the roof, secreting himself. You can see it through a cell phone lens, not a telephoto, expensive whatever Sony camera used to film a Marvel movie. It's a cell phone camera from one of the victims. How do you miss that? How do you miss it, especially in terms of what Ron Rowe, the acting director, had said a few days ago before this video surfaced in testimony that they knew they were working a problem at the 3 o'clock. The guy is at the 3 o'clock. I'm going to get to that, but there was a breaking news story this morning. And the breaking news story was about this prisoner swap. And I want to say in advance, conclusively, dispositively, with a period at the end of the sentence, as declaratively as possible, I am glad our people are home. We should do everything in our power, within reason, to get our people back when they're taken by tyrants, despots, and others. Evan Gershkovich, Paul Whelan, apparently they are going to be released shortly back into the United States in a prisoner swap with Russia. I mean that. I think we all feel the same way. However, ladies and gentlemen, we're not stupid either. And as U.S. citizens, it's time for us to start asking basic questions. Yes, we want our people home, and I'm glad they are home. Clear they were imprisoned under false circumstances. But folks, isn't it fair at this point to start asking questions like, well, what was the parameters of the deal? You know, who did we give up? It involved apparently other NATO countries as well. Is there a national security problem created from the and then what? Yes, I'm glad we got our people home. However, who did we give up? Did we give up 10 people, 15 people, 100 people? What happened behind closed doors? What don't we know? And then, isn't it fair and just logical as citizens of this country, in a republic, a representative democracy, where we have representatives, the president otherwise, in different branches of government representing us and funded by us, why is it that Vladimir Putin seems so eager to accommodate the Biden administration? Folks, if you don't think these are fair questions, I'm sorry, but you're not paying attention. I do not trust the government. I have no reason to. Between the FBI, the CIA, the Biden administration, the intel community, the endless lies, the laptop, Spygate, collusion, the Nikki Haley Drape story, and the history of lies and BS, I have zero reason to trust the United States government. Zero. They've given me none. They lie about everything all the time. And you don't find it strange that Vladimir Putin, sworn enemy of the United States, stayed awfully quiet during the collusion hoax to seemingly benefit the Obama-Biden administration? What about the laptop fiasco? 51 intelligence officials in the United States debasing their credibility, embarrassing themselves and their families, signing a letter. This is all the hallmarks of Russian intelligence. Completely making the story up. Why was Putin so quiet? Then all of a sudden we see this deal with 90-something days go to the election. I'm glad our people are back, folks. But the deal matters because it incentivizes countries. If Joe Biden made a bad swap with very dangerous people, it incentivizes other countries to then go and take additional hostages, knowing that the Biden administration will do anything to cut a political bargain. Don't ever be cowed away from asking hard questions. I don't trust these people, and you shouldn't either. I'm going to say for the last time, I'm glad we got our people back. They're our people. But the deal matters. And I find it awfully suspicious, again, that Vladimir Putin, everything he seems to do, whether implicitly, explicitly, through omission or commission, to assist Biden and the Democrats from staying in power because they don't want to deal with Trump. Fair question? Hey, Jim, we got to get Susan on later again, Crabtree. See if she can come on it too, because I got to talk to her about this. Let me transition. That happened early this morning. Big breaking news story. Glad we got them back. But again, I'm staying on top of this story. And, you want other shows that just take these people's word for granted. Oh, yeah, we did this and it's all great. And, don't ask any questions. Everybody be quiet. Fine. Yeah, that's not this show. I'm not doing that. And I won't be pressured into doing that either. Zero chance. Let's get back to this Secret Service story because it's one of the, as you can tell over the last few days and basically weeks of this just horrible event that happened. I think you can tell I'm struggling a little bit. It's not a sob story, man. I'm nobody's snowflake. This isn't even a real job, okay? You know who's really struggling? It's 115 freaking degrees in Florida today. People out there landscaping, people out there doing plumbing work, humping in 200-pound, 300-pound toilet bowls and bathtubs. They're struggling. But you're my audience, and I feel like this is a family. I got my Bongino Army shirt on today if you're watching on Rumble because I love you guys. I'm struggling with this story, folks, and I absolutely refuse I refuse to let personal relationships and my prior time in the Secret Service blind me to, again, what now is only explainable by two possible scenarios, and only two, or maybe a combination of those two. Negligence, again, that's borderline criminal at this point. Someone was murdered. I'm serious when I say that. Or malfeasance. Or depending on which set of personnel you look at, maybe a combination of the two. There is no other explanation. Here's what happened. Yesterday, a video emerged. Obviously, playing it here is not going to do much good. It's a radio show, but it's fine. I explain to you what's on it. If you want to see, you can go to my Rumble account. It's all over social media. A video emerged from one of the victims who was shot by Crooks, the assassin. In the video, you can clearly see a figure moving across the roof. You can see him running. Now, I don't want to exaggerate it. He's not up there. You know, I use the example. I'm trying to make a joke out of this, but he's not up there like one of those, blow up things at the gas station that, blows up, the air comes out the top. And he's not doing that. But you can pretty clearly see him. Now, one of the things that wasn't really covered, and Fox News got a hold of this video early. One of the things that wasn't really covered that I thought's interesting is they noted it was taken from a cell phone camera, but they didn't make the next logical leap. Folks, that's really important because the cell phone camera was focused on Donald Trump, and it was not focused on the subject. And it's a cell phone camera. It's not a zoom lens. Again, it's not a, big time billion-dollar movie budget camera. It's not a drone camera. It's a guy's cell phone. It's not even focused on the roof. And you can still clearly see a figure moving, secreting himself behind this lip on the building, and then popping up again. It's not hard to see. Now, the video's even worse in light of acting director Ron Rowe's testimony the other day. The testimony the other day, which I'll play for you coming up, I promise. But this monologue is critical because I can't accept this anymore. And I've got a lot of good people reaching out who cannot believe the Secret Service. The answer to every question at this point, I should have finished my thought. They can't believe the Secret Service is still deflecting. The answer to every question about what happened at this point should only be this. Guys, listen, at this point, I'm trying to help the public. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to help the Secret Service anymore. I'm not. You want to be honest with me and give me some information to get on the public? Fine. I'll take your call. I'm not in it for you guys. I'm in it for the public at this point because someone's going to get killed. Period. I'm trying to give you a piece of advice at this point. You can listen to me or not. I've been doing this on TV, on radio, and digital for 10 years. That's not opinion. That's a fact. Here's the answer to every question. Why did you do this? There is no explanation, sir. A catastrophic mistake. We failed. Why did you do this? Sir, there's no explanation. We're going to do our best to fix it. No explanation. Catastrophic failure. Guys, why did you do this and fail to secure this? Sir, again, I'm sorry to give you the same answer, but I'm not going to make an excuse. We catastrophically screwed up and a man is dead and 3 people were shot. There is absolutely no excuse. We are going to fix this. Here's how. That's the only answer. Guys, you need, and ladies out there in the Secret Services, you really need to listen to me right now. Because if you really believe what Ron Rowe did the other day, the acting director, this faux indignation, this act, this let me pretend I'm angry at Senator Ted Cruz, help. Man, I say this in a completely non-ideological, nonpartisan manner, which is unusual for me. You are catastrophically misjudging what's going on. I'm telling you right now, the whistleblower stuff hasn't even begun. I'm telling you now, Secret Service management, people who are retiring this week, last week, the week before, the month before, are reaching out to me by the tens and hundreds